Welcome, folks, to The Uncommon Good with Bo Bonner and Dr. Bud Marr. Every week, diving deep into the truth of Catholic social teaching and restoring all things in Christ. The Uncommon Good.
The Uncommon Good is on the air. I'm Bo Bonner.
And I'm Dr. Bud Marr.
We are coming to you from these United States of America. I'm over here in Des Moines, Iowa, where I am the Director of Mission and Ministry at Mercy College of Health Sciences and the Director of the Zeta Institute for Foundation in Ethics and Leadership. You can find us at mchs.edu and zetainstitute.com. Bud, out there in Pittsburgh, what are you up to?
I'm here as the Director for the National Institute for Newman Studies. You can find us at newmanstudies.org.
But is there anything else in your life as exciting as Texas Tech making the Final Four? And just be honest.
No, that's awesome. Actually, I like a little variety in life, so it's sort of nice to have these schools that have never made it, like Auburn and I think Virginia. It's their first time as well, at least a long time.
Right.
First time in a while.
Well, and I mean, I know that I'm trying to be positive here. You know, you want to do that on radio, but the real thing is Duke lost, and it was hilarious. And
that was really key. Yeah. This show's about justice and the common good. So Duke being out of the tourney, I feel like that helps the cause anyway.
Yeah. So we're joining you from the Mercy One Iowa Catholic Radio studio, and brought to you always by Cartridge World. And Bud, we'd been talking about if you needed to print out multiple brackets so that you could keep up with how everyone's doing, Cartridge World is the place to go. 801 73rd Street, Windsor Heights. How many bracket printouts did you have to redo? Like, I guess I'm asking, how wrong was your bracket?
I did surprisingly well this year. I usually struggle at the bracket competition quite a bit. Before Sunday's action, I actually had all my Final Four teams alive, but with Kentucky and Duke losing, I'm now my points are frozen for the year. But it was worth it, like we said.
Yeah, in the bracket competition, Bud and I are both a part of. My wife and I are both last and second to last. So let's not talk about that. Talking about more positive, successful things, as always, underwritten by Mercy College of Health Sciences, mchs.edu. We are, of course, heading towards an inauguration. That's what we're going to talk about today. We have the president of Mercy College, Doug Fiore, here with us today. April 10th and 11th, we have all sorts of things going on, but you can go to mchs.edu, and we have on the front page the different events that you can do for the inauguration. Please know that the public is invited to them. But also, Bud, we're getting ready to start to wind down. We have the graduation ceremonies coming up, but summer semesters getting ready to start as well. It's not too late to contact someone and think about starting your career in the health sciences. Yeah,
so commencement's around the corner. That's always a fun time, and I know, like, for the nurses, the pinning of the nurses is a big deal. So, I don't know. There's spring in the air.
To show you how prudent we are and why you should trust us is the first year I was asked to pin someone, they were still, like, we literally would take, the pin off and have to put it, and I, cut myself 4 times, stabbing myself with the pin, trying to get it on. And now what they do is they put the pin on a lanyard, and now there's far less blood on the occasion. And I just think that's progress, Bud. That's the sort of quick thinking that you can come find from us at Mercy College.
Yeah, I feel like there's almost kind of a conspiracy theory around this. Like we ask young men to pin, like going out to prom or whatever.
Right.
It's a lot to ask of the male gender. Do this without injuring anyone, seriously.
I think that sounds like an entire biographical thing we're going to have to ask you about at some point, Bud, but we don't have enough time today.
Not today. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, every time we have the students speak at the commencements, it's just Bud Marr this, remember Bud Marr that, and the Bud Marr statue that we're getting ready to put up. So your ears will be burning when it comes to that sort of point.
You think is Bishop Pate's going to make it by for graduation, or is it?
I think at this point it's going to be Bishop Pate's, but the more we think that, the more I'm also convinced that we'll be told we have a new bishop, and he has a week to get there or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But no, so like I said on today's show, we're going to talk about the events of the inauguration of Mercy College of Health Sciences, but also the themes, of course, that are brought up exactly when we have time to think about things like inaugurations. One of them starts to be what does it mean to have leadership in a Catholic institution? What do we expect? And especially in an educational institution that we focus so much, Bud and I have both taught servant leadership, so we want our students to be servant leaders. What does that look like when we talk about leadership for the institution itself? But then also the peculiar fact, Bud, that you really can't swing around, this is an Oklahoman saying, you can't swing a dead cat in America without hitting probably a Catholic institution that has something to do with education or healthcare, and in our case, both. And so we want to talk about why is it that is a special province of the church? Why is it that you see that devotion to the intersection of education and medicine, and that's something that we're going to talk about today.
Well, I think in our day and age, a lot of folks have sort of suspicions of institutions, and you see like these surveys that say people increasingly distrust like Congress and things like that. So I think, this is kind of par for the course, but Catholic institutions have a real witness to give by leading in a certain kind of way.
Well, and I know that we quote this a lot, but it's a good thing to quote. If you talk about professions that people trust the most, nursing always wins out. I think radio shows or hosts are number 2.
Yeah.
I don't actually think that. I was just throwing that in. But nurses, very much so. We have proof that's the case. And I think that sort of intersection of people being on the front lines of care, being very knowledgeable, it makes sense. And so that's something we want to talk about today. Laud today. And one more time, like I said, invite everybody to go look, mchs.edu, where we have the inauguration ceremonies listed out. And I know that we play in different places, too. So if you're in Oklahoma and you needed a reason to come visit Des Moines, head on up. But certainly everyone in Iowa, we would love to see you there. And, we're working on to get the helicopter to, fly Bud in and, parachute him down and everything. So we'll see how that works out. So this is the Uncommon Good. Bo Bonner, Dr. Bud Marr. We have President Doug Fiore from Mercy College of Health Sciences. When we get back from these messages, we'll talk about the inauguration, Catholic leadership, education, medicine when we get back. This is the Uncommon Good. Stick around. We'll see you in a bit. But as always, if people want to contact us at the show, 515-223-1150, the Zip Whip line. That's 515-223-1150. Hashtag UCG, the Zip Whip line, allows you to leave us messages, information, feedback. But we haven't had a lot of use of it since the big debacle about whether we should keep the eagle screech or not. But I'm sure there's something we're doing wrong, and folks can get us at the Zip Whip line. 515-223-1150. 515-223-1150. Hashtag UCG for the Uncommon Good. Leave us a message, and we will try to respond. We'll even try to respond earnestly, don't you think, Bud? We'll do it. We'll actually not be sarcastic this time.
Oh, we're always earnest.
Always earnest.
Mostly earnest, yeah.
Bud's middle name is Ernest. Ryan right. Bud Ernest Marr. This is the Uncommon Good. We'll be back after this break in all earnestness. Stick around. We'll see you then.
Impoverished children break everyone's heart, but poverty seems like such a big problem. What can one person do to make a difference? For 17 years, Blessman International's passion has been to connect the resources of our donors with sustainable programs that impact the lives of impoverished children in South Africa. Our donors are feeding thousands of hungry children every week, providing basic water and sanitation for impoverished communities, and sharing the love of God in practical ways every day. Go to www.blessmaninternational.org and make your donation today.
50 years ago, tuition and costs at Catholic elementary schools were mostly absorbed by parishes. Now, higher salaries for lay teachers and new technologies have greatly increased the cost for families. Hi, I'm Jean Wells at the Catholic Tuition Organization, and my job is to reduce tuition costs for families and award great tax credits to generous donors. Want to help? Please donate today at ctoiowa.org. Let's do this for the kids and their future.
Support for the Uncommon Good is provided by Cartridge World. Cartridge World is an industry leader delivering high-performance printing products that help you save time, money, and print great.
Perfect for businesses, home offices, college students, or busy moms trying to find affordable printing supplies including ink, toner, paper, or printers. For business customers, pickup and delivery are available. Products are guaranteed or full replacement.
Cartridge World, your low-cost, environmentally friendly printing experts, 801 73rd Street in Windsor Heights, 515-564-7400, and online at cartridgeworld.com.
Rock Valley Physical Therapy, dedicated to your health and well-being. Serving patient needs to making better lives, we have outstanding outpatient physical therapy, occupational hand therapy, and sports medicine rehabilitation. Rock Valley offers unprecedented one-on-one care. With 7 convenient locations in the Des Moines Metro to the southwest Iowa area, we serve the entire diocese. For more information, rockvalleypt.com or 515-221-1621. Rock Valley Physical Therapy, making better lives.
Welcome back to The Uncommon Good. Bo Bonner and Dr. Bud Marr, who we have in studio today. He's an all-star guest now at this point, Bud. This is his second time around. We have President Doug Fiore, third president, Mercy College of Health Sciences, and he's been on the job for, is it 9 months?
It is 10 months
10 months now, but I think this is another brilliant strategy. We're doing the inauguration here coming up April 10th, so you wanted to make sure you got people like good and stoked before you did the inauguration. But no, this has allowed us time to plan, get people invited.
That's right.
So that's coming up as well. So welcome to the show again, President Fiore.
Thank you so much, Bo. Bud, it's great to be here with both of you for a second time.
Yeah, it's very nice. So one thing that I want to joke around with you a bit
Sure, let's
is, you can choose to do an inauguration, quickly, wait a bit. Do you just like... are you a big believer in like anticipation?
You got to build the anticipation. You got to get everybody excited. I know it's about the only thing people are thinking about in Des Moines these days, right?
Yeah. No, you know what? Like speaking of like being the only thing people are talking about in Des Moines, so Mr. Bud Marr here, almost immediately they put him on a billboard when he worked for Mercy College.
He got on a billboard?
Yeah, Bud. Billboards and buses, right?
Yeah, my modeling career really took off after I started at Mercy. I wasn't really on my 5-year plan, but they thrust me into the limelight pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think either you or I have been asked to be on a billboard.
Clearly he's better looking than we are.
I do.
So I thought you were on a bus in Iowa City recently. I got a text about this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But
and you were in the chapel talking to students, so...
Yeah, well, they were like, we need something that covers a lot of space. So they got both here.
They had to vet you first, yeah.
So like we were talking about, we have your inauguration coming up. What I love about you could do an inauguration, but you decided to make this. It's almost like a festival. It's like Bonnaroo Mercy College.
That's right. 2 days of great activities.
Yeah, you are going to be extremely sleepy come April 12th. So just to run through with everything, on Wednesday, April 10th at 9 a.m., we have the inauguration mass at St. Ambrose Cathedral with the bishop. We have priests, deacons that really help Mercy College out that are going to be up there with the bishop, but a whole slew of people, wonderful music. So that's 9 a.m., wonderful mass to go to. And then the big event itself, 1 p.m., the inauguration ceremony, which will be at Community Choice Credit Union Convention Center. And for people who can't keep track of all the names of those places, so this isn't Wells Fargo, but it's the place...
it's the place adjacent to it.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think to all the Iowans, this is the place I think where the state basketball tournament used to be.
Oh, see, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
what, like, so don't... But isn't that right? Isn't that what they... Yeah, Tony. Yeah, Tony's giving me the. So okay, we're good to go.
Tony
so
knows,
that's
yeah.
1 p.m. at the inauguration ceremony, Community Choice Credit Union Convention Center. A reception afterward at 3 p.m. again at the convention center. So that's going to be a fantastic day, full of things that and we want the public to feel free to come to all of it.
Everybody. This is open to anybody who wants to be a part of it and celebrate Mercy College of Health Sciences with us.
And so then the next day, Thursday, April 11th, again, some really neat things that we're doing. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're having a prayer walk where we're going to walk through Mercy College and pray over the different parts of the college, what it does, the people involved there. So, we start off each day presenting Mercy College to the Lord, thanking Him for the ability to do what we do, and then asking for His intercession. The Mass starting on April 10th, the prayer walk at 10 a.m., April 11th. The students are going to get together and celebrate 11 a.m. to 1. We're having a big student lunch. In fact, the thing, right? The college is off on Wednesday.
Right.
You announced
we've
a
closed
holiday
the college.
for it. Yeah, that's
exactly.
pretty great. And then 11 to 12 for people who want to come through. We're having campus tours at the alumni table at Brennan Hall Commons. We'd love to see many alumni as possible. We're going to have dinner in the lobby, 4:30 to 5:30, Sullivan Center. And then something else that we all hold very dear to our hearts, we have the Faith and Healing Speaker Series, and it's really cool to pair this with an event like an inauguration. So that's 5:30 to 7 p.m. Again, public is welcomed, encouraged to come. Like all of our Faith and Healing Speaker Series, it's in the Sullivan Center. We have a main speaker and then 2 people responding. So Dr. Michael Galligan-Steerl, who's the president of the Association of Catholic Colleges and Universities. Doug and I both got to hear him speak multiple times. He's a fantastic person to listen to. Very much talking about the difference Catholic education makes in higher education. You would love to hear him. Please come. And then we have our 2 main constituents are going to give responses talking about his talk in light of what we are. So we're a Mercy institution. Sister Mary Paula, Assistant Director of Mission Conference for Higher Education, is going to give a response. And then our own Colleen Walters, Chief Mission Integration Officer for Mercy One as well. So it's going to be so many things you can do. Come for one thing, come for all of them. Right. But please make sure that you feel free to come. So
absolutely.
The only thing that's missing is, like we couldn't get Fish. Fish didn't. The jam band Fish just.
No,
I knew that was really something you were after.
That was so important to us. Yes.
Fish and Bud. Bud, you're not going to be able to make it out. Can you tell Doug to his face on air you can't make it?
Is any of this being live streamed? I'll support you guys in spirit.
Yeah, that's right. We're not going to get the Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not quite as close as maybe I was imagining.
Yeah, they need a high-speed train between Pittsburgh and Des Moines.
Agreed.
That's right.
320 miles per hour, something like that.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. So, Doug, the question to ask is, you've. Of course, to be president, that doesn't mean you started in higher education yesterday. You've been at many institutions. You've been a part of the fabric of higher education. Inaugurations, what do we want to say to the public? Why do we celebrate beginnings like this? What's the hope that we instill in the community with something like an inauguration? Because I've heard you clearly say the last person inauguration about is really you.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you teed it up that way, Bo, because truly it is a presidential inauguration. The purpose is to inaugurate the president, but it's a celebration of the college. It's a celebration of everything that the college has done before, and it's an opportunity for us in celebration to talk about what we're going to do next, to get everybody who's played a role in Mercy College of Health Sciences in the past and all of those present and who think they might want to join us in the future to gather together and talk about this new beginning and this new opportunity for us to reignite the fire that we all have for education and for healthcare. So it is absolutely about the college, not about the president. I just happen to hold that office, hold that position that is beginning anew.
Doug, with what you're talking about there, like celebrating the college, Mercy College of Health Sciences has always seemed like a unique institution for me in the sense that it really is like, I feel like in that part of Iowa, there's not necessarily a strong Catholic higher ed presence, whereas in some parts of the country, Catholic colleges, you can shake a stick at them, but there you guys have this unique role.
Right.
Where do you see the Mercy being this institution that's straddling higher ed that also is connected to the Catholic Church? How does that inform your mission and what's going on in the college on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's a great question, Bud. And I think what it does is it really helps solidify the mission, because you're right. We've got Catholic colleges in Iowa, just not right here in central Iowa near us. And so, we have a responsibility as a Mercy institution. Most people, when they think Mercy in this area, they think healthcare. But when we think about what the Sisters of Mercy, what Catherine McCauley actually stood for and began formation considering, it was taking care of people, not just healthcare needs, but lifting people up who had not had an opportunity to be lifted up before. So we've got that really important legacy. We've got that responsibility here in central Iowa. And I said shortly after I arrived that, the diocese is certainly Part of my servant leadership is to try and be a leader that serves all of the constituents that really matter to us as a Catholic institution. Well, the diocese is one, so we need to be connected. We're not a diocesan school, but we need to be connected to the Catholic community formally and officially through the diocese, and because we're a mercy institution, a little bit less formally. But we have quite a responsibility providing people to lead in healthcare careers, while we're also fundamentally charged with education, while we're also fundamentally Catholic. So we need to do all of those things together. And the beauty is they all are in many ways the same thing.
So one of the fun things about being Catholic, Bud and I can throw out as being converts, is you get a lot of mileage out of certain statements like both and. Bud, like, you can attest to this. Like, if a Catholic has trouble, and like, is it this or that? They're always like, both and.
Salad or French fries, both and.
Right. That's why Pittsburgh's that way. I think about the phrase "Nova et Vetera," ever ancient, ever new. That the idea that the church is both ancient, but then always, because of the Holy Spirit, new and refreshed and has new things to say. So I think about our college, and in one hand, Mercy, the history of Mercy College is ancient for America. We've been here over 100 years as a nursing school.
Yeah.
We're also new because we became a college 25 years ago, ish, in the 90s. And so that sort of holding that together, it's the same thing, right? American Catholicism is new, even though it's hundreds of years old compared to the 1,000 years of the church. So I actually think it's kind of, you probably accidentally meant to do, maybe you meant to do this, right? So you are old, you've been here for a while, but you're new, so we're having an inauguration, right? Blending both together. Well, I think that we do that too with this, you brought up servant leadership, and Bud and I have taught that. We want to form leaders, new ones, in our students. We want to talk about a different type of leadership that we install in them. But how is that, what we're trying to install in the students leadership-wise, reflected in what we expect of leaders of institutions? So that would be you, right? How do we, so that's a both and, right? Like when we talk about leadership, the concern is both. If we don't have good institutional leadership, how are we going to form it in our students? But if we're not about forming it in our students, it's not going to show up in our institutional leadership as well.
Absolutely true. And that's why one of the gifts that Mercy College of Health Sciences gives students and gave me as a new president was servant leadership. The idea that we were so intentional about servant leadership that we were going to ensure that every single student experienced that course with us, that speaks very, very loudly to anybody in a leadership role. And it reminds me of my responsibility as a servant every single day, so that I'm modeling what we're expecting students to do, and students are modeling for me what I'm expected to do all day, every day. And, as I think about where Mercy College of Health Sciences is headed and what our next chapter might look like. Our next chapter is all about service. It's about serving people who right now don't have access to a Mercy College of Health Sciences education. We are a small facility. We are downtown Des Moines. But we've got Mercy hospitals all over this state, all over this region, and we've got needs for people to serve as nurses and other allied health professionals in those colleges. We have a responsibility as servants to provide the leadership necessary to serve those communities by bringing programs to them, giving students opportunities to do clinical experiences or ultimately work in those communities. So, servant leadership is very much at the center of every single thing that we decide to do.
Doug, what challenges do you see out there for institutions like Mercy in terms of the financial pressures of higher education? So I have in mind, there's a Jesuit school in West Virginia this past week that announced it's basically eliminating all of its humanities programs and focusing just on business, and I think they have a nursing program there as well. But there seems to me like I struggle a lot with the question of what should higher ed look like going forward. And of course, as someone trained in theology, I see an important place for questions about God and philosophical questions and exposing students to great books. But I do know there's a lot of pressure. I'm thinking about sort of like the instrumentalization of knowledge, where some students coming to colleges say, I don't know why I need this class on, let's just say, servant leadership, when really, I want to do this, and I just need to know like the hard and fast facts that will help me to be a better X. Any thoughts on those sorts of things?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful question because, there have been 64 private colleges since 2016 that have either merged with other colleges or closed their doors entirely. And among those 64, there are some Catholic colleges. The challenges facing institutions are really obvious at this point, but we have a couple of choices. We can either recognize that students are going to ask those questions, why do I need this material, and then yield to it by saying, I guess you don't, or we can model every minute of every day why that knowledge is essential. We have a special gift at Mercy College of Health Sciences, and that is the only course that we're really requiring is the servant leadership course. That makes a very, very loud statement when you say to students, this is something you must do with us. Now, granted, we are also an institution with 4-year liberal arts degrees, and we tremendously value the integration of the liberal arts with the professional coursework that we deliver. But the fact is, a lot of that students get at other colleges now. They don't get all of that with us. So we aren't ones who are forced to defend the liberal arts to the extent that some other colleges are, and those are the ones that really struggle. If we needed to, we could, but we absolutely have no problem, particularly as a Catholic institution founded by the Sisters of Mercy. We have no problem defending the need for servant leadership as part of our curriculum.
Well, what I think about, too, when you think about Catholic education and how it arises in the United States, a lot of it is we have these immigrant communities, immigrant Catholics come to the United States, and how are they going to be integrated into society at large? And so you see both secondary schools and then institutions of higher education, and this is why there's so many of them on the Eastern Seaboard, right? As that starts, people go, how do we train people to attain a very Catholic social teaching concern? We want them to get good jobs, just wages, so that they can have families being the most basic unit of society. And if we have good, strong families who have careers and places that they can stay and things like this, it's not theology like as a course, but it's theological to say we want people not just to get jobs and approach markets, we want people to have stability so that they can have families, so that we can have thriving churches and communities.
Right.
Life changes. Some of those things that people were trained to do have changed on them. But healthcare is certainly one that's not going away because I don't know if you knew this, Doug, but people are still going to get sick.
I have heard that.
I've heard that, right? Yes. And then also, not only is it's a growing field, that increasingly we start to see a way that people can make good wages to support their family, but also do work then that we can be proud of, right? Work that it's not just 9 to 5. It can be difficult work. It can be draining work, but it's work where you truly can be the hands of God reaching out to people in their greatest need.
Absolutely.
That's what we were talking about with nursing and why people find it so one of the professions that they trust so much is they might not know exactly what a doctor's thinking. This isn't to bash doctors or anything, but just how things are set up. But if you have a good nurse and the nurse starts trying to help you about like decisions you have to make, that starts to be someone that you trust and put your trust in.
Right.
And so one thing that when people say this, right, like, and I don't think people don't usually come up and confront me this way, but when you get the idea, it's like, oh, well, is that really just like you're sort of a trade school then, right? You're just like getting people into nursing and allied health. And I go, well, what we're doing is getting them into vocations.
Right.
Vocations, answering a call to not like to support yourself, but then also really support weak people in a position of weakness, and then a community, like to be able to do all of those things through what we do.
Right. And another important piece is you mentioned, theologically. Theologically, we also need to, and at Mercy College of Health Sciences, we do this, and we're going to keep doing it better. Think about how we make these kinds of programs accessible to the family.
Exactly right.
So we've got so many students who, you talk about the family as that fundamental basic unit, who are trying to better their lives for their family. We are not only giving them opportunities to attain careers that are the hands of God reaching out and caring for people, but we've got to do it in a way that doesn't pull them away from their family as much as we possibly can.
And I think that starts to be when we think about reasons that we shake things up, the reasons that we have, like, conversations, debates, arguments at the school. I mean, these are all realities of trying to grapple about who we want to be.
Right.
But that what they're centered on is to say, radically focused on students. We have to start to say, how are we making their lives better by serving them? So
That's
even trying to make education less a sort of transaction, you give us money, we give you a product, it starts to be, how do we serve students, communities, and society? So when we get back, we're heading to the break. When we get back, we'll talk about this more, and then the intersection of why are Catholics so worried about education and medicine. So for Bud Marr, this is Bo Bonner. We have the president of Mercy College of Health Sciences, Dr. Doug Fiore. And when we get back from these messages, we'll talk more about this. So stick around. Well, Bud, if people want to find out what's going on for Mercy College, switching modes, for Iowa Catholic Radio, it's easy to do. All you got to do is go to Facebook, look Iowa Catholic Radio. You can follow us there. Same thing on Twitter, at IA Catholic Radio. You can get the tweets that have to do with Iowa Catholic Radio. I think, Bud, if I'm not mistaken, we're doing other social media as well. I'm not up to it as a an old man before my time. I think we have an Instagram where we've graduated to arrangement of hot dogs and chips, pictures of food like that. And then we have good old, just the internet website, Iowa Catholic Radio. You can go and sign up for a newsletter if you use that ancient medium of email. So please make sure to follow us. You can see what we're doing, see how we're interacting with the community. Iowa Catholic Radio, easy enough to follow. This is The Uncommon Good. We'll be back after these messages.
Impoverished children break everyone's heart, but poverty seems like such a big problem. What can one person do to make a difference? For 17 years, Blessman International's passion has been to connect the resources of our donors with sustainable programs that impact the lives of impoverished children in South Africa. Our donors are feeding thousands of hungry children every week, providing basic water and sanitation for impoverished communities, and sharing the love of God in practical ways every day. Go to www.blessmaninternational.org and make your donation today.
When you donate to CTO, you're helping more and more families send their kids to Catholic school. That's great, because more and more families qualify for tuition assistance every year. Your generosity makes a huge difference for thousands of families and kids who really need help. Plus, your donation qualifies you for great tax credits. Want to help? Please donate at ctoiowa.org. Let's do this for the kids and their future.
Support for The Uncommon Good is provided by Cartridge World. Cartridge World is an industry leader delivering high-performance printing products that help you save time, money, and print great.
Perfect for businesses, home offices, college students, or busy moms trying to find affordable printing supplies, including ink, toner, paper, or printers. For business customers, pickup and delivery are available. Products are guaranteed or full replacement.
Cartridge World, your low-cost, environmentally friendly printing experts, 801 73rd Street in Windsor Heights, 515-564-7400, and online at cartridgeworld.com.
Rock Valley Physical Therapy, dedicated to your health and well-being. Serving patient needs to making better lives, we have outstanding outpatient physical therapy, occupational hand therapy, and sports medicine rehabilitation. Rock Valley offers unprecedented one-on-one care. With 7 convenient locations in the Des Moines Metro to the southwest Iowa area, we serve the entire diocese. For more information, rockvalleypt.com or 515-221-1621. Rock Valley Physical Therapy, making better lives.
Good. Back with you, Bo Bonner, Dr. Bud Marr. We are here with Dr. Doug Fiore, president of Mercy College of Health Sciences, here in the studio with us. Doug, thank you for coming back and joining us. You could have just thrown down the headphones and ran if you didn't like that first 30 minutes, but you're back.
I love it.
You're there. That's good. So, of course, we've been talking about Catholic education because we have the big events coming up April 10th and April 11th. We have the inauguration ceremonies, including Mass, the inauguration itself, plenty of food, faith and healing, plenty of things for people to do, and mchs.edu for more of that. When we left off at the break, we were talking about how it is that Mercy College tries to live up to the high calling of Catholic education, which we think makes it different, that it's asking us to do something different. Another way to sort of dwell on this in a sort of more general way is, why is it that Catholics have such special interest in education and medicine, and especially where those two overlap? Now, part of it just starts to be historical. Right. A lot of the religious orders that come over to the United States, especially the nuns and sisters, have been doing medicine for hundreds of years at this point. In the Middle Ages, when you would think of a place to try to go and get healed, you would think of nunneries, monasteries. So it's natural in that sort of way. And then, of course, Catholics invent universities, right? Again, in the Middle Ages, University of Paris, Oxford, these very old ones. So two things that we've been doing a long time. When the Catholic Church lands in the United States, it's obvious that it's going to bring those two things. And then also you have, wild and woolly American history where with everything that's going on, there are things like who are you going to go look to help, heal you when you're out on a place that's only been quote unquote settled for, a decade or something like this. So here comes the different religious orders, and ours, of course, the Sisters of Mercy, coming from Ireland after Catherine Macaulay founds them. This is the late 1800s. We get to Iowa, 1890. Is it 1893 or 1897? Sorry, off the top of my head.
I think it's 93.
Yeah, and then we get the first graduating class of Mercy College, not Mercy College, excuse me, the nursing school in 1901, which we have that hanging up in our college. And so then here we are, right? The sort of demonstration of the Catholic concern for education and medicine. And I think this goes back to Christ coming to the works of mercy, right? So like instructing the ignorant, meaning people who not only don't know a practical thing, but like ideas about faith and everything like this, and then also coming to heal, right? Healing the sick. And so we try to live that intersection in today's world. And that's what we're striving to do, to show that intersection more and more.
Exactly. I mean, that is exactly who we are. And when you think about it, I mean, what are the two greatest needs that society or families have now? It's to make sure that they're well, healthy, not sick, and to become educated. It's the great differentiator. So we do both.
Yeah, Doug, so if you're, imagine in your mind with me, it's a beautiful June day in Des Moines, Iowa, and you're grilling bratwurst in your backyard.
Yes.
And the neighbor peeks over the fence, and you start talking about life, and eventually share that you're, the president at Mercy College, and he says that's interesting. I went to Iowa State, so I know what that's all about.
Losing.
But,
sorry.
So easy.
Yeah. Sorry.
If he says to you what? So what's your mark? What makes Mercy College distinct? What comes to mind, when you're just sharing about the college, in a backyard conversation?
Absolutely. Without knocking Iowa State or any other college.
No one's doing that here.
Yeah, right. No, of course not. We give information. That's about what we have in common. But what we really do that other places don't do is we remember Catherine Macaulay. We remember what we are charged to do, and we believe that we have an obligation to deliver instruction in health sciences and nursing, but in a way that values the human being. Not that all doctors and nurses don't value the human being, but, when you're educated at a Catholic institution, particularly at a Mercy institution, there is a special way to look at nursing and look at all of these healthcare professionals. And we are looking at people. We are looking at children of God and making them better, healthier, able to live more productive lives. So I think there's a real fundamental difference.
And that's another thing. So we're in Bud's imagination now. So to keep going, right? This neighbor who sounds a lot like the guy on Tim the Tool Man for whatever reason, Bud.
That's exactly what I had in mind.
Yeah. So he's he hears your first initial, and he's like, "Oh, that's great." He's like, but what I have in mind when you think about something like Mercy College, or you're thinking about Catholic education in hospitals, I'm thinking, you're educating nuns, right? Or these people in habits or, clergy or things like this. And then when he finds out, maybe from you or the internet, that actually the largest percentage of people we help aren't even Catholic.
Right.
This what was the guy's name? Nelson?
Gosh, what was his name?
That's
Wilson.
Yeah. So Wilson, only you see his eyeballs, and he looks at you, Doug, and he goes, well, then how is that Catholic, right? If, like, the vast majority of people you help aren't Catholic, how does this connect back to what the Sisters of Mercy did? And you tell him over the bratwurst.
Yeah, I tell him over the bratwurst that, the sisters did not ask for people's cards to show what church they went to. The sisters didn't ask for people to demonstrate anything about themselves other than that they were in need. And that's what's so Catholic about us. We serve everybody. We believe everybody deserves a Mercy College of Health Sciences education. We don't believe that you have to be Catholic. In fact, most of our students, as you mentioned, are not Catholic. But to me, if it doesn't sound like I'm talking in circles, that's what's so very Catholic about it. It's true care, it's true love, it's true desire to make people's lives better.
Yes, and even I think with Sister Catherine in Dublin, when she starts the House of Mercy and then eventually gets to... so not only was she going out, and they became known as the Walking Sisters because they went and actually found people like in the gutter, in distress, to help them, but she also made a point when she finds people, particularly single mothers, prostitutes, women on the edge of society at the time, like living through the difficulties of the Industrial Revolution. Precisely what she does is go, okay, we're going to heal you, we're going to get you back to strength, but then teaching them things like to be seamstresses, to give them ways in which they can enter back into society in a sustainable way. And it's like you said, there weren't you didn't have to demonstrate why you should be there. The fact that you were in need, Sister Catherine saw as that was you being Christ enough, Christ asking for help. And so I think that starts to be the sort of nexus for why education and medicine always seem to overlap in these sort of concerns.
Right.
Well, as you guys were reflecting on that, I don't want to get like too misty-eyed over our bratwurst, but Doug, for me and Bo, like one thing I can say that kind of surprised me teaching at Mercy is that, you as a professor, sometimes I had a bit of trepidation saying like, oh man, I'm nervous to bring this into the classroom because I'm afraid like this is going to be too controversial or something. But when Bo and I did bioethics, we were kind of struck by like some students, even if they ended up disagreeing maybe with the stated moral directives of like Catholic healthcare facilities, they found it really refreshing to have like, I mean, I think a lot of people today, as they think about ethical issues, it can seem sort of mind-boggling or we feel sort of unmoored. But they found it refreshing to say, like, we have this specific framework with which to think about difficult things. And even if I end up going a different direction, like, I've been forced to wrestle with this long tradition. Would you say, like, as president, that you find some similar moments where it's like, I'm kind of glad as a president of a Catholic college that I sort of have these like foundations from which to work?
Very much so. And I do believe, I love the point that you made, Bo, because I believe I see the same thing in faculty, in staff, in visitors. You know, people, whether or not they were raised Catholic, attend a Catholic church, identify with Catholicism in any official way, people do very much respect and adore the fact that we have such a framework. That framework makes a real difference to people, and I find universal respect for it, particularly because of the way we do encourage other thought and conversation in our courses.
Yeah, I think one of the surprising the surprises that someone like Wilson over the fence might not understand is when you get only a glimpse of college life from the news. Mm-hmm. It really does seem like this astoundingly contentious field to be in,
right,
in which everybody sort of is walking on eggshells. And certainly there's places that you can work that it's like that. I actually think this is where being attached to medicine with education, I I don't want to say that like other people aren't grounded in reality, but a lot of the students we get, because they know what they want to get, they know what they're getting into, and so it's like Bud and you were both pointing out, if there's a rope to sort of hang on to while you're walking across the rope bridge or whatever we want to make the metaphor, they don't have to think that they're going to tomorrow buy it all wholesale, but they appreciate the idea that walking into what can be scary but exciting and actually fulfilling, that someone who's been there this whole time allows them to have a surer foothold. And they don't always think this way, and I'm not acting like students have speak in like crystal clear metaphors about these things, but to Bud's point, there's an appreciation that can be hard won, but for a place to do that, it has to be willing to say, this is who we are.
Right.
And when you deal with people honestly with that and say, this is who we are, you'll be surprised for them to respect that, even if they don't ultimately agree with all of it.
I completely agree. And I think it is a challenge that we have at Mercy College, is to remember to not be afraid to define who we are and celebrate who we are. And that's easy for me, but we've got a lot of employees, we've got a lot of students, and we all have to speak with one voice when we define ourselves and we say who we are. And the reality is that gift was given to us by the sisters.
Right.
So that's defined for us.
No, and I think that's another great way to put this, is to I'm thinking of other debates that like have sprung up with a lot of people about what does it mean like to have freedom, or to be at liberty to do things. And when you have to fight every day for your conception of the world, that doesn't leave you free to maybe go further in an exploration when we've been gifted all of these things, right? So we don't have to constitute ourselves anew every day.
Right.
That allows us to really, I think, start to bear down on what do we mean by mercy.
Right.
And that's the sort of like praise and also challenge that just me being an employee as long as I've been, is I'm glad that mercy is on the lips of a lot of people. They want to do mercy type work, right? They want our mission to be front and center. But then the challenge is to say, what does it concretely mean to be an institution that cares about mercy?
Right.
And, when you talk about students, I think you'd be the first to say we're reminded every day about how can we be more merciful? Where have we failed to do that? And I kind of hope that that's a sort of standard flag for the rest of the church, that they'll eventually look, if not already, to our institution and say, we say we're all about mercy, and like it's easy to talk that up. Now, what are we going to go, do about it? How are we going to instantiate it in real life?
That's right. And it really does set our mission concretely for us, because you're right. When we have that foundation set for us and we don't have to reinvent ourselves anew every day, the only challenge you then have is, to your point, okay, so how are you going to live out this mercy? What is this going to look like? And frankly, I don't think we'll ever nail it perfectly. I think that's the beauty of it. The beauty is in the exploration and the challenge, and in the decisions that we make that we believe are completely merciful, until we hear from another perspective, and then we have to rethink it. And that's what's so fun about the work that we get to do.
Yeah,
I know you guys.
Go ahead,
I know you guys said on April 11th that Sister Mary Paula is going to be part of the Faith and Healing conversation.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of curious. Like, are there regular, ongoing conversations with the Sisters of Mercy, and like what sort of conversation do you guys have with the order that founded the college, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so the Mercy Conference of Higher Education, I get to speak with them on a regular basis. We have big shindigs, annually. Yeah, so
bratwurst.
Yeah, no,
there were no brats.
It's out at DC.
There were no brats.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys had for lunch. But Sister Moya Dittmeyer. We have a host of people that help us out. Then, of course, on our board we have wonderful Sister Marita,
yes.
And she's going to be part of inauguration ceremonies as well.
Exactly.
I've always been impressed with the Sisters of Mercy, who admit that they don't, in the United States especially, they're not as numerous as they once were, and they've been very intentional about saying, how is it that lay people who themselves aren't sisters, of course, are going to carry on that charism and spirit. Yeah. And so I think that that's something that we see and are very grateful for. about them, like you said, not only having something set up for us, but sharing it with us.
Yeah, and to your question, Bo, the Mercy Conference for Higher Education, I believe there's 23 Mercy institutions that are part of it. And, I get regular emails from them, and what's wonderful is they range between position statements on issues to real questions and debates about, okay, as Mercy institutions, how are we going to look at this issue? So it's great to have that foundation and that guidance, but it's also great to recognize that, nobody's got it completely figured out. And so there's always questioning around positions that really makes it a stronger group.
Yeah, and I think this is a good way to really circle back around to say, what we're hoping that you guys get to see is some of this in action, right? Like
That's
who
right.
we are and the discussions about who we are. And again, the inauguration ceremony, Dr. Fiore's been with us for 10 months, but we're doing the inauguration ceremonies here in April, and we really want the public to come out and be a part of it. So just to run through real quick again, Wednesday, April 10th at 9 a.m., the inauguration mass at St. Ambrose Cathedral. 1 p.m., the inauguration ceremony at the Community Choice Credit Union Convention Center, with the reception following at 3 in the same place. Thursday, April 11th, 10 to 11, we have a prayer walk on Mercy College campus, a lunch 10 to 1 for students, 10 to noon campus tours, a dinner in the lobby at 4:30 to 5:30, and then when we'll really start to hear again about these, like let's discuss who we are and what our future is. The Faith and Healing Speaker Series, again, open it to the public. Sullivan Center 102, where we have the speakers, Dr. Michael Gallagher-Sturrill, President of the Association of Catholic Colleges and Universities, Sister Mary Paula, Associate Director of Mission Conference for Mercy Higher Education, and then Colleen Walters, Chief Mission Integration Officer at Mercy One. And I think what we could easily say is the things that we sort of touched upon on this radio show, that they're going to get a lot more in depth. And so we really do hope everybody gets out and is able to make to one of these events, all of these events. We would love to see you out there. Well, so Doug, before we let you go, anything else you want to wrap everything up with or talk about, leave in people's mind about the importance of these ceremonies?
Yeah, thank you, Bo. What I would want to leave in people's mind is, again, Mercy College of Health Sciences, almost ready a year from July to celebrate our 25th anniversary as an autonomous institution. We are celebrating on April 10th and 11th. We are celebrating the next chapter in our life. We are reflecting back on the successes we've had so far. It is all about the college, the students, the faculty, the staff. I'm honored to be in this position and to be inaugurated. And I encourage anybody, near or far, who can be in Des Moines on April 10th and 11th to please come and celebrate with us. Your presence would mean a lot to us.
Yep. So again, mchs.edu, we have the place where you can look at all this stuff. We can, RSVP, and just the basics. We're here in Des Moines off 235. We're hard to miss, plenty of parking. All of it's downtown, and that we would love to see you. Doug, thanks for coming on the show, and
Thank you.
I said, being an all-star for the Uncommon Good. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug.
So, Bud, we're getting ready to go out here, but just how jealous are you about missing everything in April? Maybe that will make people want to come.
No, it sounds pretty awesome. So the prayer walk, what's that entail?
We're going by representative sections of all of the school, and then we're having different people say prayers so that God can bless what they're doing and help them grow and everything like that. So Diane Haskins, who's a great employee for us, she came up with it. And so, yeah, pretty awesome that we're going to get to do that.
Yeah, it all sounds amazing. And like you said, you had Doug come in and the excitement of that, but now following up with an inauguration. So it's like celebrating twice.
That's right. But we love figuring out how to do that in the
I got to think about this with Christmas.
Yeah, two Christmases.
More presents, yeah.
Well, this is the Uncommon Good. May Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, reign in our hearts, in our families, our city, our state, the nation, hemisphere, world, solar systems, galaxies, the whole kit and caboodle. This has been the Uncommon Good. We'll be back next week. But there's all sorts of things people can do if they want to be a part of Iowa Catholic Radio and the various Catholic doings here and around the Diocese of Des Moines. If people want to be a part of what we're up to on the radio, can you let them know some of the things that they can join up with?
If you've recently purchased a robot for your home, you can say, Alexa, play Iowa Catholic Radio, and she'll fire it right up. If you're looking to dive deeper into your prayer life, we pray the rosary at 5:30 in the morning, then at 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m., and we also pray the Angelus together daily at 6 a.m.
As far as doings and goings-on around here in Des Moines, fish fries are now listed on iowacatholicradio.com.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, whoever thought that one up, that's a good one. The ladies' Mosaic Luncheon, the next one is Thursday, April 11th, 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Hey, that's a good way. You eat lunch there, and then you can come on over to the inauguration ceremonies. And then the next Man Up Power Lunch is Friday, April 12th at noon, St. Francis of Assisi with Deacon Randy Kuehl. And the Iowa Catholic Radio Golf Outing is June 14th, 8 a.m. shotgun start. Who gets to shoot the shotgun? No one's responding. Hey, okay, Jimmy says he's going to shoot the shotgun. That's
awesome.
That's pretty awesome, yeah. And as always, the ministry here at Iowa Catholic Radio is not just the people with the pretty voices speaking over the air. More than anything, it's you guys. You guys make this possible. So prayerfully, if you want to consider giving donations to Iowa Catholic Radio, please do so, iowacatholicradio.com. And keep us in our prayers for our outreach. Bud, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time, buddy.
All right. Blessings.
For Bud Marr, this is Bo Bonner, The Uncommon Good. We will see you guys next Wednesday.
The Uncommon Good with Bo Bonner and Dr. Bud Marr is heard every week on wonderful Catholic stations like this one, and anytime on podcast. Just search for The Uncommon Good.